I'm so happy that
Cheers! I'm so happy you brought drinks.
Isn't it good?
Last time I drank on a podcast, I got a little.
Perfect.
There's something about.
I made these especially strong.
Great. I was hoping.
But do you like it or yes or no?
I love it.
Do you really?
No, it's really good.
I'm not gonna lie, it is really good.
It is really good.
I got it from Pinterest and then I recorded it this morning. I've got morning sunlight, so I had to get up at like 7 and record it.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's kind of annoying.
Dedication.
But
don't say influencers don't work.
Period.
I've been up since 7 a.m. drinking. You don't
Drinking
even
alcohol.
know what it takes to run the.
And then I have to edit it. It's a bitch.
And if you knew what it was like to have, if you had a business you were passionate about, then you know what it takes to run a business, but you don't.
What is that audio? Is that the TikTok audio?
It's Kim Kardashian.
Wait,
if you had a business you were fucking passionate about, you'd know what it takes to run a business.
Oh, that's right. She was saying that to Courtney.
Yeah.
That was a sick burn, bro.
Up at 7 a.m.
Okay. Well, okay, let me get started. We're just rambling over here, and they're like, huh? Welcome back to Revel Culture. My special guest is the one, the only, the villain that you love to hate, but you shouldn't because she's actually not a villain. Wait, I'm going to say your last name wrong. Theis?
Theis.
Damn it! Julie Theis.
That's okay. You learn more through mistakes than you do even through accuracy, so this will help implant into people's brains.
She's actually super fucking intelligent. I'm not kidding. I went through all your content this week because I'm not just going to have you on my
Julie
show.
Deep dive.
Yeah. But I'm not just going to have you on my show and just be like, no, I need to know what I'm going to talk to you about. Then I was like,
full on stock.
Damn, she's smart. Intelligent is really what it is, and wise.
Thank you.
I'm dead ass.
Thank you. That's why I put myself at the front of the line. I still get a lot of flack for that.
I went on Reddit too, which was a
oh
mistake.
my God.
Can I tell you?
I also went on Reddit one time and that was a mistake.
I will never look myself. I will never do it.
No.
And if you ever do, truly don't care to hear about it.
Literally need to delete that part of my brain.
I'm sorry that you did that. I did it because
Yeah.
I was trying to just get like a quick little recap of the trust. Oh, I didn't even mention that. She's from the Trust. I'm literally so ADD. You may recognize her. She is from Netflix show The Trust.
Yes.
And she was painted kind of as a villain on the show, I want to say, but I really liked you in, I think it was episode 6 when you stood up to the 2 girls in the house that were really trying to strong arm you. And you used that word, that term.
Yeah.
And you were like, me and my boyfriend, we watched the show together.
Yeah.
And we were literally rooting for you. We were like, don't do it, Julie.
Oh,
don't do it.
good.
And you didn't. And you're like, I'm not gonna, you just want to control me and I'm not gonna allow that to happen. And you got up and you walked out. And I was like, we literally were like, bitch.
I wish I would have had more of a mic drop moment, but you're still like, which some people did not care about, but I'm like, oh, I'm still trying to be like likable to the people in the house. But when I rewatched it, I was like, I wish I would have been like, good luck with your numbers.
Right. I'm sure you would have been, I would have said the same thing. I would have been like, but I'm not that person.
Yeah, I kept it classy.
She did keep it classy. And
Ish.
she's not a villain. She's really not. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't realize I even was the villain. Like, this is how I realized that my, like, self-awareness isn't as great as I thought it was.
Dead.
Because I left that show and I was like, I'm America's sweetheart. And when I watched the show, like, when I watched the first 4 episodes, I'm like, I'm so funny. Like, I'm a little sassy. Like,
Please.
I got a great edit. I literally thought, I was like, I got a great edit.
Yeah.
And then the internet came out and everyone's like, you are the worst, most vile human being to ever exist. And I was like,
huh?
oh, wow, I really don't understand perception and how people work.
I mean, I don't know if that's a negative thing because I kind of like that you live in this Delulu world where
I thought
you're
I was
a good
doing the
person.
people's work.
Right.
Like, I never
but you're
knew,
not here's the thing, you're not a bad person. So if you were a bad person, I would be like, listen, Miss
I
Ma'am.
never knew, like, people didn't, like, value manipulation as a skill set. For me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's, like, street smarts and intellect and, like, some wittiness, some string pulling. I put that high. I'm like, what a great trait. Did you not watch Gossip Girl? Like, I grew up
Not the Gossip Girl.
Big Blair fan. And I'm like, I admire her so much. And I'm like, that's what I try to embody naturally.
I mean, Blair kind of was low-key a villain on the show.
I never knew. I never knew.
All right, you know what?
I loved her.
Delulu is a Salulu, and I'm fucking proud of you.
I love these people. Like, my heroes.
My thing is, if you're going to go on a game show where you need to outsmart all the other contestants, all these other strangers, so that you win the money at the end, I would think that your manipulation skills is a skill set. It's like gambling.
Here's my thing. Yeah, how are you going to be mad at me for bluffing in poker?
Duh.
You mad at those people? They're the most vile human beings you've ever met in your life?
Yeah. And
okay? Or are they good at playing the game?
There's people who are manipulators, but they're actually really bad at being manipulated. And that's why I was afraid. I mean, no spoilers, but maybe kind of spoilers when the Tolu and Winnie had pulled you aside. And I mean, Winnie she was being manipulative too. Hello?
That was what was so frustrating for me on the show, is that they were like, you're being manipulated by this man, but he wasn't playing the game. That was the I don't know why that's not recognized. He was just there. He's happy to be there.
No, it was so recognized.
He thought we were all gonna like.
My boyfriend and I were like, these boys are so fucking dumb.
The boys were just happy to be there. The girls were who was playing the game, and they're like, you're picking Jake over us. I'm like, the only time a target was ever on my back in the house was when it came to the women, which was really hard. So like, then you're not a girl's girl, and I'm like, that was the only manipulation going on both sides. As a manipulative woman, I will say, yes, I'm playing the game too. We all were.
Yeah.
But for them to be like, these men are manipulating you, they're just.
But I was like,
they don't know what date is.
They're manipulating you.
Yeah.
And Winnie
were.
is just clawing because she didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's a bad social strategy to play. We had a lot of conversations about that off camera. Well, it was on camera, but they didn't air it.
Okay, I was going to say.
And that was like her and I's thing, is she really was like, you're too emotional. You're getting too emotional playing this emotional game. And I'm like, this is a social strategy game. It's emotional.
No, emotional.
People play off of their emotions, you included.
Period.
I don't know why we're not recognizing that. So she saw me as like, and I don't know if that was like her own manipulation of kind of like, let me paint you as this weak manipulative thing. And I'm like, it is the smartest thing you could do to recognize emotions are at play. Cue, hello, romance over here. Like, Brian was like this father figure to me. And I'm like, I'm going to get all of your emotions involved, and mine are also involved, and that will help.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to start here. I mean, we've already started, but I have two things that I want to touch on. Let's touch on this. When we first met, do you remember?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Because I really thought the whole internet hated me, and you came up to me and you're all like, I love you. And I was like, who is this girl?
Wait,
She's
really?
so cute.
Slay.
Yes, and then I became obsessed with you.
Bitch, if I'm your one fucking fan, I'm cool. Like, cool. I'm so cool with it.
Yeah.
To me, I literally had so much respect for you when you did. I've been manipulated my whole life, like from my mom on. So when you were like,
Starts with the mother.
and when you recognized it, I was like, admire. I aspire to be more like you, because that was my biggest issue, and I would always fall for it. And then when you didn't and you stood up and you walked out, I was like, queen. Iconic. But we were at a Dune 2 premiere, and it was girls only. So I wasn't going to stay for the movie because I promised my boyfriend I wouldn't watch the movie without him.
We left early too because we got drunk. Me and my friend brought a +1 girlfriend.
Slay. So I'm actually about to walk out the door, and I turn and I see you. And I know the PR people sitting at the table. So I marched right up to them, and I was like, first of all, the audacity. I was like, did y'all invite someone from TV? And they're like, I don't know, did we? And I was like, that girl right there. It wasn't clicking. Like, I knew I recognized you, but I didn't know from where yet. And as they were looking up your social medias, it hit me. I was like, Julie from the Trust. And as I'm like spinning on my heel, they say, she's from the Trust. Like, I remember it's like in slow motion. And I'm marching up to you, and I said, I was like, girl, what the fuck are you doing here? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And you looked at me like, hey. And I was like, I just saw you on my TV like 2 weeks ago.
Well, I didn't know, because it's Austin too, and I go out a lot. So it's like sometimes I like, meet people and I never remember. That happens to me a lot. So
Same.
I loved how I just like was like, oh yeah, hey girl.
Hi.
And then you're like, no, I saw you on the Trust, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I was actually very thankful, because that's when the show was really like coming out. I was getting so much hate. I'm like, everyone hates me in this world. Thought I was America's sweetheart. Turns out I'm not. No self-awareness girly going through this world. My delusions are trying to be shattered, and you're so nice. I was like, that girl is so cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I could scare people with that energy. Like,
I loved it.
Bitch, what the fuck?
Say hi.
Yeah.
No, I always
awesome.
assume I'm in the wrong. I was like, yes, they probably have met this person, and I just don't know.
Oh, no. No, that's funny.
No.
We're really similar. I tend to assume that I'm in the wrong as well. I'm getting over it. Anyways, okay, so you get on the show. I know that a casting director reached out to you. I actually have auditioned myself for 4 reality TV shows, one being The Circle for Netflix.
Oh, you'd be good on The Circle.
Bruh.
Yeah, I think you'd be real good.
You better hit me back up, Matt from The Circle. I still have his contact info. But they actually ended up going with a gay guy named David or Daniel, I think. They wanted a loud, eccentric person, which was me.
I don't know what they're missing.
But they went with a guy instead, and I was like, that's fine.
No, I love knowing like who I'm like, or trying to figure out like what my typecast typecasting is. Turns out it's not America's Sweetheart, if anyone's wondering. It is the psychotic villain.
Yeah, keep
I learned the hard way what I was being typecasted for.
But yeah, they reached out to me. I think it was DM, and then I said, "Here's my email," and I was this close to getting it, and then didn't.
Yeah.
So it was like a 4-month process too. Yeah. And they were shooting in London. It was during COVID.
Yep.
That was crazy. So same thing happened with you. Someone reached out, and then you got
so this
kidnapped,
is for,
but not really.
At first, they reached out to me for Temptation Island.
And wait, is that still on?
I don't know. I think so. No, and I actually think that Netflix just bought Temptation Island. I could be wrong, but I did hear a rumor about that.
Slay.
I think our producer is taking it on, the trust producer.
Would you be on the show?
Temptation Island?
Yes.
I'm glad it wasn't Temptation Island. Like,
but if they asked you today, would you go? Why? What's the hesitancy?
I don't know. I don't think it's like as. I mean, I probably would say yes to most things. Let's be honest. I'm not that picky, so yeah, probably. But it wouldn't be the show that I would want. But like, I would say yes to most things.
So, since you are like,
I'll sell my soul.
Your bubble has been popped, right? And you're like, I'm not America's Sweetheart. This is how people portray me or see me. Are you okay with putting on that act for like 2 months? Or does it make you feel kind of
I was having a good time. I thought I was being funny, and I think people
but the thing is, you didn't
understand that.
But you didn't know that America was seeing you as this horrible person type of shit. So would you actually, knowing that America is going to view you as a manipulator?
The problem is people are like, is that who you really are? Is that? And then like some people try to defend me, and they're like, no, it's TV, and I'm like, that is who I really am. But it's just like it's a part of who I am. You take that out of context, it looks a certain way. But if all of my friends also thought it was hilarious, and they like saw that it's like, I'm not being serious most of the time. Like there's a scene where I go, I'm like, this is the easiest money I made besides the time I like stole it out of that dude's wallet. I haven't done that, but like that's funny, and I would do that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I still don't see the issue. So I'm so sorry to disappoint everyone. I really was being myself, but like I was having a good time, and I understand. I have a really strong appreciation for like the psychology of storytelling, and I do think that I wasn't meant to be the villain. I think I was meant to be like a morally ambiguous character, and maybe that didn't come across in 8 episodes. It's a hard.
I didn't go to college.
Let me tell you.
What is more?
Okay,
more?
So this is new in this is kind of a newer theme in. This is a newer theme in movies and in storytelling, and it's something that we're used to seeing stories that's like black and white, good versus bad. You have the protagonist, the good guy, and then the antagonist, the bad guy. It's really easy for people to categorize, and it makes us feel good. Most stories follow this hero's journey, and it's been studied and proven time and time again. People love that. They love like closure, all of that. Recently, you see more of these morally ambiguous characters coming to light that are starting to be more popular. So you have someone like Daenerys Targaryen. Is she good? Is she bad? Yeah. We don't know. Walter White in Breaking Bad. Is he good? Is he bad? It's kind of these people. And the point of these characters are, number one, they're much more human. They also make us reflect back on ourselves. What is our humanity? What would we do? The parts of us that aren't all good and aren't all bad. I really believe that that's how I was meant to be casted. And I think that's a very great indicator of my personality. I'm not this like morally superior person. Like we had Brian on the show. That's him.
Yeah.
And I'm not the total villain either. Like, and there's parts of my story they try to highlight on where you're like, I get it. And that's where you follow these villains. And now you see a lot more villain arcs where they like the Joker has a whole movie and you're like, oh yeah, okay, well you're abused by your mother and then you didn't fit in anywhere in society. We're meant to empathize with these characters, but it takes a really high skill level of writing to be able to have that read across for someone it's the anti-hero and you end up rooting for them despite their downfalls.
Yeah.
Maybe this is my delusion that I have painted, but what I'm saying, first of all, is true. But I think that that's who I am, and I think that's probably...
I don't think that's delusional. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted, and I think that's why they spent so long sharing my story. And I got a lot of heat for that, too, of people being like, all you do is talk about your story, shut up. Number one, they asked me, and they asked me quite a bit, and I think they wanted to build a character where you were confused on, do I root for her because she's doing some like malicious things, but also it's like, how could I not? It makes sense because why I was selfish.
And you deserve to win money.
Right. And that was like conversations I remember even before I went in, and there's a scene where I'm in the vault and it's like I can take the money or I can do what's right for the group or do what's right for myself. So I'm there with Brian, who's obviously going to do what's right for the group. He is the morally superior man. And he's actually a great human being.
I could tell. Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
And then you have me, and I went and I took the money for myself, and I actually did feel bad for that. And a producer like was walking with me, and he was like, "Hey, like, you know, good job. I'm proud of you." And I was like, "Don't give me the villain edit," is literally what I said. And he was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "I mean, it would be one thing if someone like Bryce was the one who did that. And it doesn't make sense." He was like, he's like, "You explained it really well. I think a lot of people are going to empathize with you and understand why." And so as much as I'm like, I'm the villain, everyone hates me, it's like I actually have had so many people write in and be like, I would have made the exact same choice as you. I grew up very similarly. This is how I move through the world, and who get it.
I would have too, because you are going to see these people every day for 2 months, but then you're never going to see them again.
I still stand by it. I'm like, to be selfish isn't always the worst characteristic you could have. Because when I grew up, I'm like, who else was going to be selfish for me? I didn't have anyone to advocate for me. So I made selfish choices, but if I wouldn't be as far as where I am.
Yeah.
You have to. And even it's like a quality I know some of my friends really admire about me that they wish they had more of. It's like when you're standing up for yourself when it comes to a job or your salary or anything. You're like, I feel bad. It's like, no, be selfish, because who else is going to? So it's these traits. It's easier to think of them as black and white, and that is a lower level of thinking, and it's shown that people who think that way show a lower level of intelligence. You have a lower IQ, because when you view the world for all the gray and all the complexities, you also have higher rates of depression. But you're smarter, because it's really confusing. It's a more comforting experience to put people in a black or white category. So when people hate me, I'm just like, you're stupid.
Yeah, no, but for real, I get the same way. When I get like
thesis on why.
When I get hateful comments, I'm like, I actually feel bad for you, because
you get hate.
Yeah.
Over what? You're so cool.
God bless you. My number one thing, and this always rubs me the wrong way, is when people say, "Why do you talk black? You're white." And it bothers me so much, because I love me some chocolate. I love Black Girl Magic. I'm such a big supporter of it, but it bothers me because I don't want to repeat myself again and again and again, and I'm not ever really going to, but I was raised, and I don't want to tell this story a billion times, but I was raised in the south of Dallas. It's a very poor suburb. When I tell you we were the only white family in the neighborhood, I am not exaggerating. There was a couple Filipinos, and the majority was black. My best friends were Monique and Destiny. I got braids with beads in it when I was in 4th grade, because they got their hair done by their moms, and I was like, that's so pretty, I want to do the same. Then I got bullied when I went to school the next day, and I immediately took them out because I was mortified. But I went to a black church, went to the Potter's house up in Dallas, and I was raised in this hood, if you will. Like, there was one time, like, my bikes always got stolen, and then they'd pop up in the alley and the tires would be missing and the handlebars would be gone. And there was one time when there was a neighbor right next to our house, and she was just like this old woman, you know, and she's just like, get off my lawn, like literally just did not like us kids playing around. But we were kids, we didn't really have internet, so we played in the we played in the street, and we came home when the lights came on, like that type of shit. And there was a car, I remember it was a blue old car, and it was driving really slow, and she was like, get in here, like that. And we were like, the fuck? We looked at her like, you? No way. And she's like, get in the house. And so we all went in the house, and we all sat there, and she like gave us something to drink. I don't remember what it was. And she kept looking out the window, and then maybe 15, 20 minutes later, she's like, okay, go. And now that I'm older, I realized this was like some kind of drive-by gang initiation type shit. And they were driving really slow because they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do. And we were just kids. And so that's how ghetto it was. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I was raised in this environment for a long time. And when I feel like really sassy or da-da-da-da-da, like a little attitude comes out. And it's just how I was raised.
Like, what an experience, too, of like getting hate for being like
who I am.
And then people are accusing you of like being something you're not. But it's like, if I was to assimilate the way you want me to, that would be me not being who I am.
That's exactly, so and that's why I will never change.
Yeah.
Because I grew, like, up until I was 29, when I left I had this 8-year relationship, and I just allowed myself to be molded. I was such a people pleaser. I allowed myself to be molded to whatever you want. If you said, Alisha, I don't like this, or why do you do this? I'd be like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you were a stranger on the internet and you said that, I'd be like, oh my God, and I would reflect on myself and be like, what's wrong with me? I got to change this. I don't do that anymore. And so I'm not going to change how I was raised and who I am just because you are seeing it as a racial thing. Just like it's racist to you, it's cultural appropriation to you, but you don't know my story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's insane to me. And so I'm like, I'm not even going to explain it. And it literally just like grates me. That's the only one though. But yesterday, is it?
I said that's your main one?
That's my main one.
Yeah.
That one just, like, every time I read it, I'm like, ugh. But I don't know. I'll get over it one day.
It's annoying. I mean, I get, there's so much.
It's just annoying. It's like annoying that you would think, I am dating a black man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I actually feel safer in a room full of black people than I do in a room full of white people, and I'm not exaggerating. And I'm white. How does that even make sense? But anyways, it makes me angry to think that someone thinks like I'm racist.
I do think there's like there's categories of hate comments. There's like something that really like upsets you because maybe it stings because maybe it's true. Then there's some that I'm like, oh my, this is funny because of how untrue it is. But then there's some that I'm like that I've also gotten a lot that are so untrue that I'm like, it does bother me, and not because it has truth
and you want to stand up and be like,
oh. But it's so, I'm like, y'all got totally the wrong picture. Like all my Reddit stuff too, they're like, oh, there's no way you actually like were homeless or came from foster care. They're like, you're making that up because you were in pageants and
what? Like, why would you make that up?
Well, and I'm like, and also the trauma, and I'm like, like when I was a kid, like trying to tell an adult what was happening to me and being told like you're making that up and a liar. I'm like, number one, re-traumatizing, but number two, like just how wrong they've gotten it. And it's so wrong that I'm like, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, and people took screenshots, like they're detectives. Like there's a pair of jeans that I got. It was like those Miss Me jeans, with the bedazzled ass. I wanted those so bad. I had a girlfriend, God bless her parents actually took me in because I was homeless and I didn't have anywhere to stay currently, as I right now. But full circle moment.
We're here.
We back. And her mom owned a clothing store, and that family did so much for me. I mean, they housed me, they fed me, and they had a clothing store, and they sold the Miss Me jeans, and they gave me some for my birthday. And I wore that pair of pants every single day. Like there are billions of photos of me in those because they were the only pair of pants I really had and owned. Someone took that like on Reddit, screenshot it from my Facebook from when I was in high school, and were like, she wasn't poor. These are $100 pair of jeans. And I'm like, if you only knew but there's so many examples like that of them screenshotting things, taking something so out, and I'm like, I don't know where to start with this. And it actually does bother me. Yeah. Because I'm like, it's so invalidating of my experience. And they're like, oh, you have a picture, you're smiling and you were a cheerleader. I'm like, oh, sorry, I should have just like taken out the selfie camera while I'm being like physically abused. Like next time. Yeah. I wish my 15-year-old self would have thought of that. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I completely get it. Yeah. That's why that bothers me too. But when other people come out and like just say something that's so like a Reddit comment they literally pulled something out of thin air and they put this together. That's when I feel bad for them because I can see how negative your mindset is. Yeah. That this is how you view the world, and I feel so bad for you because I can't imagine how miserable you got to be in your day to day.
That's how I feel when people are like, oh, but you ended up doing pageants. I'm like, you could have so easily been like, wow, she went through all of that and she still like has these photos where she's smiling. She's still like started businesses and did pageants and all this stuff. But instead you look at it and you're like, oh, there's no way that could be true. Why? Because it's not true for you.
Change your mindset. Yeah. It's wild.
It could be inspiring, and instead it's like, oh, I'm lying. Yeah. That can be the only possibility. But the reason why they have to do that is because either they sit in their own cognitive dissonance where they realize, fuck, I actually have more or have just as much as her, and I did not even anything close with that. What does that say about me? So instead it has to switch into, oh, she's lying, because then they don't have to feel bad about themselves for whatever life that they're living. Yeah. Because if I can do it, then you could do it. But I didn't do it because I'm making it up. Right. Got it.
Okay. So you grew up in foster care. Your mom was abusive and an alcoholic?
So my parents both struggled like heavy with addiction.
And your dad was not there?
Yeah. Both my parents were addicts. My mom had me. They were still together. They had like me and my sister. They split. They struggled with other drugs, but mostly when I was growing up, it was like alcohol and the home. So my mom raised me most of the time. I was in foster care a couple times, either from like arrests happening or I think those were the times I ended up. So I was in foster care for like short periods of time. But my mom mostly raised me in Montana, but we were like very poor. So we
trailer home.
Yeah, trailer homes.
You were eating out of garbages sometimes just to find food.
Yeah.
My question to you is, how did you become the woman that you are today? Was there a pivotal moment in your life, or have you always just been so well aware of your reality that you actually didn't become bitter and a resentful person and take it out on people around you who do have nice things, or see everyone as trying to attack you and the villain? Like, well, you don't have that mindset. It's very obvious to me. It's very evident to me. You're very self-aware. You're also very intelligent enough to read other people and have that gray where you understand you're acting like this because you da-da-da-da-da. But you have every excuse in the book, in my opinion, to be a toxic asshole.
Yeah.
And you're not. Was there a pivotal moment, or was it just you've always been like, no, this isn't the answer. This isn't it?
I think like when you say, you're not bitter and resentful. There was a time where I was, not towards other people, but definitely towards myself, of like I internalized a lot of the abuse. And I do think that, so there was a part of me growing up where I always was like, I can have more and I deserve more. And like, even, being in the trailer parks, it's like, all those kids, it's rough. It's hood. They're doing hood stuff and like drugs and stuff. And I got a bad rap. And I think some of the people on Reddit, they're like, I knew Julie forever. She's always been like this. Because there was this air of stuck-upness I think I almost had, of like, you are in the same position. Like, where do you get off? But I really was like, I have to make it out of here. Like, in some ways my head was so down and I'm like, I have to make it out of here. And I do remember a moment where me and my mom were like bouncing around. We didn't really have a home. I would also just get kicked out of sometimes because that's the reality of living with a neglectful, like mentally ill addict parent. And so one of these times, I think, it was just my mom would decide I wasn't allowed to have a house key. So she just would lock the door on me quite often. So I was like sleeping in my pickup, and I remember kind of like thinking, and it was winter in Montana, like not enough gas to run the heat. I didn't want to tell anyone what was going on. I ended up, like I said, coming clean to the friend that helped me. But before that, it's like I was really ashamed and embarrassed of what my life was. And I remember being in like my truck and crying and bitter and resentful and like, why is this happening to me? And wanting to like completely give up, like not wanting to be there. So much pain. I did not see the world in a positive place. And I thought about, I'm like, you have to keep going, you have to do it. And my only thought was like, but it's going to be hard. And I thought about like how hard it was going to be to go to school the next morning, pretend like nothing was wrong, how hard it was even going to be to apply for college, get through college, all of that. And I'm like, that's so overwhelming, it's going to be hard. And I was like, but this is hard too. And this is the life I'm going to sign myself up for, is these trailer parks. And knowing that I'm someone who never reached their dreams, and having to look at myself every single day and the drama that comes in the trailer parks and the poverty and all of that, that's hard too. So I'm like, which hard do I want and which hard do I pick? And in that moment, I'm like, I have to pick my hard. And I did. And I think about that so often because there were so many obstacles. It wasn't easy. Like the day I was 18, everything went in my pickup. I drove up to the nearest college town and I was like, please, I just want to go to school. But everything before that, I don't know. I didn't have the mindset right away that like, that's their stuff and it's not my stuff. Like that came later. It was mostly just like head down. And I'm like, I have to just get out. And then I realized like how I was internalizing all of that like hate and anger onto myself. I wasn't an outwardly angry person, but I found a lot of ways to like punish myself, and dealt with a lot of like self-harm and psychologically like psychological addictions is like what I help a lot of people with. But I was definitely in that cycle. But I went to school for psychology, and I think part of it was, number one, I had to understand how. I didn't know there was something deeper. I'm like, it's not that these people are evil and that everyone's bad. And I think part of that comes from I had people I loved that abused me. Like my caretakers abused me. When you're like a little girl, you don't think that of like, oh, my parents an addict, they just like physically can't. You're like, what's wrong with me? Yeah. And so I had to understand how that could be done onto me, and that I was obsessed with psychology from a really young age and understanding like human behavior, mostly to be like, how is this able to happen to me? But also like, and how do I get out?
Yeah. You have a master's in science of psychology?
Yeah.
Correct, yes. Which is why you're so fucking intelligent
Yes.
over there in your little chair.
I'm sure psychology.
Do you have a minor in anything? Anything else?
I have a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies.
Wait, what does that mean?
I know. I almost did a minor in philosophy as well. So I took a lot of philosophy classes. I studied a lot, like for Montana, I studied a lot even on like rural transgender suicide, but also like men's suicide rates as well.
Why? That sounds so dark.
Just like
you just want to know why.
I'm a dark brain.
Yeah, honestly.
I find comfort in that though, because it felt
like you weren't alone. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like home.
My childhood is not quite as dark as yours, but emotionally pretty fucking dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I had self-harm as well as I know I never went to college. My dad talked me out of it, but I do think, no, I would have been a theater college girly.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I wasn't pursuing the dream of acting, it would definitely be psychology because it fascinates the living shit out of me. I want to know why.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I was one of those kids like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a curious girl.
Wait, I've got to tell you, I had a guest on a couple weeks ago. Her name's Caroline. She she did gender studies as well in college. And one of the courses, I was like, I'm dying. One of the courses she did was on kinks. Did you have that option?
I took a psychology of sexuality, and we also talked about kinks. So I do know a thing or two about kinks.
She talked a little bit about financial domination.
What did she say?
She was a fin dom for a shaky little bit, and she told her story, and it was. I'm sorry.
What was the root? What's the why?
I
need to know the why.
Why did you want to?
No.
She hated it though. She's so sweet. She's like, I couldn't stand. She's like, I actually had to go on Reddit and figure out what to say to this guy, and I felt so bad.
ChatGPT.
Right, but that was the thing. ChatGPT. How would I degrade the man in the most worst
call
way?
this man a...
And so she ended up only doing it one time and then stopping afterwards. She's like, I literally could not. I felt so bad. I couldn't stand myself. I'm like, I have enough feminine rage in my body that I could probably maintain it for like a month or two, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm evil. I need to stop.
I don't think I've been, you get weirdos in the DMs and stuff. I pretty much had someone like ask me to do, I've had multiple ask me, and I'm like, why not? Like, I can be mean to a man, but you know what? I can't, because it's still like,
No, yeah.
they ask for too much. They're real annoying. And I will not, it is for their entertainment. I cannot be someone's entertainment.
I'm the same
Besides
way.
on reality TV, apparently, and on the internet, and like every single day on her stories. But other than that, I will not be someone's entertainment.
Okay, wait. So what I want to know now is like, what is your dream
What is your
job? What's your kink? Wait, no, what's your kink? Do you have one?
I have a couple.
Oh, talk to me about it.
I don't know.
I don't know if I have a good kink. I recently introduced ice cubes, and that was so much fun, but it's not like a kink. I'm not like, I don't know.
I'm a verbal, like a real verbal.
You like to be verbally abused?
No.
Do you want me to choke you and say you're a
Yes.
dirty slut?
Yes, and then call me a good girl. Both at the same time. You see, I received zero praise as a child, so
Oh, valid.
definitely have a praise king. See, I was ignored as a kid.
I can't even. Mine, if I had a kink, it would be some kind of physical pain.
I like that too. There is something I'm unwilling to explore about that too. I'm like, not like, like being abused as a kid, and then it's like, oh, you love like being choked. That's real. I can't go.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
don't
actually
make my face red.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to see stars. Like,
And I'm a curious girl. I don't need to know that.
I don't
need to know that.
I'm same. Like, I'm a very sexual person, and I'm open-minded to like role playing and handcuffs and
role play.
all of the things, but I don't necessarily have like one kink. I'm just like,
It's all kinky.
try it. Yeah, I'm just a kinky girl.
It's all a kink.
Wait, okay, so what were you talking about before that?
My dream job?
Oh, yeah.
I have no clue.
Okay, I mean,
Really?
you're a mentor now, and you've helped hundreds of people, which is incredible. Wait, so you're like a life coach?
So out of school, I went to school at first to be a therapist, and then I switched into, which this is another thing on Reddit. They're like, she's lying about her like psychology thing, because someone else wrote an article and they're like, I'm a psychologist. I never said that. I'm not a psychologist. I never once said that. That was the article, and they're like, she's lying. Anyways, I did start in the therapy counseling program. Then I switched out into just general psychology. I also have a specialization in industrial organizational psychology, where I specialized in like sales and online buying behavior.
Wait, what? You could literally be a millionaire. Let's go.
I did make a lot of money doing, I did well doing that, but I'm like wanting, I want to be in the media world. Like, I would love to do another show. I would love to, like, either, like, host.
Next question. Yeah. What is your dream show to be on? What would you love to be on? Oh, I have so many questions for you.
Ooh.
Let's go.
You know, like I said, I'm willing to sell my soul to put me on anything.
Really? Were you asked to be on Perfect Match? Would you do Perfect Match if they asked you?
Well, you know what? I would, but I will say, I'm like, please, I pray to God, like, cast better men than season 2. Can we talk about season 2 and the crate?
You know who I really like, but unfortunately, I do feel like I'd friend zone him. I have real life tea. You do? Yes. I love Dom, but I do feel like I'd friend zone him.
I don't.
What?
I don't think he's a good person.
Excuse me?
I really don't.
But I found him on social media before he was even on any kind of show. What's wrong with him?
Tea. So this is tea, and I didn't sign an NDA here, so.
Let me get my water.
I did hear, and I heard this back from season 1. So he was already kind of like on my radar, and I was like, I don't know about him. Listen, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I have heard from other people, like, I love Dom, who know him in real life, but I heard this back in season 1. They're like, no, the, like, sad boy emo trope, they're like, it's all a game. Like, that man's, like, such a big player. Like, he, like, realized kind of, like, what his thing is, and he plays into it, and they're like, he's not a good guy. Like, it's all kind of like this kind of like poor me victim mentality. Ugh. Is kind of real, but it's like that's not this like tortured artist kind of thing. It's more of like, to me it sounded more like it's giving covert narcissism, and because I see it now from that lens, now I'm biased, but now I've like looked at everything and I'm like, I see that very clearly. Yeah. And Tolu's my girl. I did not like how he treated my girl on the show. I think he doesn't like black women, and that's been well documented. And so, and I think the switch up was crazy on her, and like kind of wanting his place on the show, and not a big Dom fan.
Yeah, I could tell.
I've never met him though.
I could tell when they were at the table putting the couples together, he had that body language and attitude of like, please stop talking. I don't
literally
even be here with you.
And we've all like been in a different aspect. I feel like when you feel the switch up of a man. Yeah. And I'm like, I felt for her. And you're trying
to have this conversation, and
she
he's
handled
just
herself
like
so well.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm so proud of her.
Okay, so me and the mic, we're besties. I was gonna ask you, after watching the show, was there any kind of did you feel differently about any of the cast members after seeing them, like how they acted behind your back type of stuff, like on camera?
From the trust?
Yes.
So Lindsay is someone, I'll tell you this much. It's a really interesting one because Lindsay and I were actually really cool and we were good. And then once filming stopped, I had heard from the boys, and this never made it on camera. So I don't know. From Jake, he had told me that Lindsay had come up to him and he was like, okay, so like what now? What's the next move? This is after Winnie goes home. What's the next move? What are we doing? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, and the boys are, God bless their hearts, they're so slow. They're so slow. They didn't even realize we were playing a game the whole time. So they probably have more to say about this, but they're like, what do you mean? And she's like, okay, so like who's next? Like, we got to get Julie out of the house. Yeah. And I was like, I really thought like Lindsay and I kind of bonded because I always felt like Tolu and Winnie were closer, and I was really like putting my eggs in multiple baskets. Like, if these girls vote me out, like who are my alliances, which is kind of what led me into like Jake's arms as much as they didn't want me there. So that completely changed my perception of Lindsay. But then the show came out, nothing like that was shown. And then I ended up having a conversation with Lindsay. I'm like, this is what I heard. Like, were you going to vote me out or not? Because I'm like, you know, there's that Tolu is like, will you vote Lindsay out with me? And I didn't. I was like, you create a lot of messes in the house, girl. Like, I love you. You are my girl, but also like you were a big bitch to me when Winnie was in the house.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm
actually surprised that you guys are friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you surprised too?
We had the conflict resolution in the house, but Winnie is a point of like contention in our relationship. Like that
contention, like conflict?
Like, Winnie and I do not fuck with each other.
No, I would not expect you to.
Yeah, and there was like drama and fallout after the show too. And I'm like, girl, it's like a year later. Yeah, I didn't even vote you out, so chill. Like, she came for me so much, like, so heavy from everyone else. But so there were things that it's not that I saw it on camera and thought something different.
It's you heard it.
It was more of like I heard it and I don't have the footage beliefs and I don't know what to believe.
Yeah. Okay, so you and Tolu are actually close.
We're close, yeah.
Crazy.
I know. Some of my girlfriends saw that too, but Tolu and I always had the stronger, like in the house, we were always like giggling.
Do you see her as a manipulative ass person though? Because I do.
Well, I think she did manipulative actions, but for me, I don't care because, like, I was manipulative too. Like, I think we were playing the game.
Like, I think you were playing the game. I actually think she has this single child, only child mindset where she is truly, like, selfish.
Yeah.
Do you not see that? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I've never met her.
I mean, she knows that. She will admit, like, she has, like, she does this single, like, child mindset.
Yeah, I fucking love, if you admit
she does have that, like, selfishness.
Give it to me, Rachel.
But I will say, it's like, we had so many actions between me and Tolu that were, like, very sweet. Like, I am a really light sleeper, and Tolu gave me her face mask. Like, she brought one, like, you know, to cover your eyes and sleep. She like, and it was like a panda, and so she gave it to me, and she was like, "Oh, you can have this." Da, da, da. And then we got in this big girls' fight, and I remember thinking, I'm like, she's gonna take her panda mask back, because like we had our beds, and then you could put stuff on it. So I had the little panda mask, and I would wear it every night.
Yeah.
And I was like, that bitch is gonna take her panda mask now that we're fighting, and she left it.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't take it, and we talked about it after, and she was like, I was so mad at you. I was like, I'm gonna take this panda mask from her, and she's like, no, I love Julie. So it's like although we had conflict, we had enough of a relationship to have conflict resolution. Me and Winnie, it was just like always, that's who I felt. Winnie reminds me a lot of my sister. Like, it was like, you only love me when I'm doing what you want me to do.
I loved it.
And I said that.
Yeah. And you're like, that's not love, that's control. And I was like, that for me was the fucking mic drop. That was a mic drop.
You love me when I'm doing what you want me to do. And after Winnie was gone, even like Chola was like, okay, like, there wasn't an issue with like me and Jake anymore. It was like once Winnie was out of the house.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
Tolu and I had a much stronger relationship where I was willing to like fight for it. And now we're both in this like crazy Netflix world, and we see a lot of like fakeness and everything. And we actually like, we talk quite a bit still, and we'll always be like, I'm glad like I have you in the sea of like fakeness.
Yeah.
So I do find her a genuine person. I think like she'll admit she's selfish. She'll admit she's manipulative, as will I.
I mean, facts. And then the fact that you guys can do the conflict resolution shows that you are true friends.
Yeah.
Because that's what relationship is all about.
Yeah.
So, slay.
Yeah.
So you were going to go live with her in LA, and that didn't happen. Why?
Yes. Do you want a refill?
It's like almost out. Wait, there is more alcohol in there, though. Can I go grab it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Entertain the people. Bye. Do a TikTok.
And today, then our next magic trick.
Is it alright if I take this? Okay. So
Like, Kim, your sisters are going to jail.
Wait, is it true you hate the Kardashians?
No, who said that?
I told you, I stalked you, and it was like her real opinion on the Kardashians. Listen,
but I'm like,
I don't hate them, but I did absolutely, and it still grates me to this day. When Kylie was like, I overlined my lips, I was like, are such a fucking liar.
He's so fucking for real right now.
And then the titty with the boobs, she's like, it's a Victoria's Secret bombshell push-up bra. And I was like, bitch, I have a titty job. It takes one to know one. And why are you lying to these poor little girls who love you and admire you? That's what pisses me off.
I have a lot of problems with them, like,
but
yeah,
I
do have a problem. But I'm like,
should we shotgun this?
Yeah. I'm a realist though, even when it comes to I'm like, no one is good or bad. That's the thing. I'm like, I have a high enough intelligence. I actually don't like hate. I don't hate anyone. That's like so lame.
Not bad.
So lame.
Sponsored by. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you want, hit us up.
No, sponsored by Good American. Chloe, speaking of you.
Oh, my bad.
Fucking send me some jeans. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Okay, so you didn't go to LA. Why didn't you go to LA? LA is like the place to be. Everyone's trying to get me to go to LA, and I'm like, I need friends. Because have you been to LA? Yeah. Girls are, I'll say it to you, girls are bitches in LA, and it's wild. It blows my mind. I don't understand.
I really thought in some ways, I think I can play the LA game. Like, I can be political.
I don't want to play a game. I can play a game. I'm old. I'm 32. I don't want to play a game.
I can play a game.
But people will think that you're playing a game, and they're like, and I'm like, I just want to be friends.
I know.
It's not built for me.
And in some ways, I was like ready for that. I'm like, oh, I am a genuine person. Like, my relationships aren't transactional until you put yourself in the transactional category. And then let's go.
We're not really friends anymore.
You want to play this exploitive game?
Good for you. I cut people off.
I think I could be a politician. I could live that life. Yes. I can be political, but
I'd vote for you.
I don't like doing that. I don't resonate at my highest frequency doing that. If I get bored, well, let's play some games. So I was going to move to LA. I was actually going to move with Tolu as well. Her and I kept looking for places and everything like fell through. We like, it's just everything was going wrong for us. And then she ended up finding a 1-bedroom like for herself. And she's like, and it was a thing. So I'm like, you selfish bitch.
Yeah.
Like you were doing
single child asshole.
literally. And I was like, if we're moving, like you cannot back out on me. You cannot change. Like for me, I'm like, she was moving with her parents from Houston to LA.
Her parents came with her. From her parents.
Her parents' house.
Got you.
So it was a little bit of an easier transition. Whereas me, I'm like, I don't have anyone. I have literally my whole house is in Austin. If I sell everything, like I do not have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
Like I am getting rid of my lease and I'm selling all of my stuff, which is what I ended up doing. Then she got the 1-bedroom.
We're the same.
We should have. So she got the 1-bedroom and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? She's like, well, I'll help you like look for a place. And I'm like, bitch, I know how to operate a telephone. Like, I can look for a place as well. It's about finding somewhere I like. So anyways, then I was like looking for a place. I'm like, it's fine. Whatever.
Then how the fuck did you end up in Croatia?
So I kept looking for a place and then everything was still falling through for me. And I had so much anxiety. Like I was staying with a girlfriend at the time, like literally in her office on an air mattress. And I like came downstairs and I was like, I have a bad gut feeling. Like all my stuff was sold, by the way. Like, so I did get rid of my apartment. Everything is sold. I got a new car to move to LA. And I was like, everything is like literally going wrong. And I'm like, and I also feel like scared and I have anxiety and I'm not happy right now.
I believe that's a sign from the man upstairs.
And I already was like, I know I have to be if I'm going to conquer LA, like I need to be in my best, like ready for the games, ready for all that. And I was feeling just like so fragile, so vulnerable. I'm like, I will like slip into a like clinical depression if I move to LA like this. And I was like, I'm going to meditate on it. And so I did. I meditated on it and
you're like, and so I did.
So I go, stars, universe. Namaste. And no, I do meditate. And I think my intuition is super strong and it's something.
No, it is. I admire
that. Yeah. And Croatia it popped into my head and I was like, nah, that seems like a lot. I don't know why. Like literally I'm like, where should I go? Let
me tell you how, and I'm an uncultured swine. I'd maybe never heard of Croatia until you said it. And I was like, where the fuck is that? And I had to look it up.
The only time I heard about it, speaking of Yacht Week, was I had an ex-boyfriend who went on a Yacht Week to Croatia and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going. And I'm like, oh, can I come? And he's like, no, boys only. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting because when you came back, there was a lot of there's plenty of girls.
And he was an ex? So
no, we were dating at the time.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. Ew, foul. Ew, shame on you. So
anyways, that's the only time I really heard of Croatia ever get brought up. So I was like, that's it? And that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. You lived in Croatia for how long? Because you got an Airbnb and it was the views are stunning. You went to the farmer's market.
Yeah, so Croatia was amazing. So I get this meditation next week. I'm on a flight and I was like, I gotta like follow the stars, what the universe says.
Wait, pause. What's your sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Jesus. Okay, continue.
Gemini sun, Virgo rising, and Taurus moon.
Ooh, I love this combination.
What are you?
Aquarius sun, Sagittarius moon.
Love Aquarius.
We're the vibes.
Yeah.
We're air signs.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Sagittarius moon, which means I'm fire and I'm crazy. Libra rising, which means I'm bubbly and everyone should like me and never leave me a hate comment.
That's their fault.
Then
you hate yourself.
Then you hate yourself.
You hate yourself. That's period. So, okay, I go to Croatia. I'm there. I'm like having the best time, like going out in these clubs, like, is the stars gonna align me or am I just here to party? And then I ended up starting a business there.
How the fuck did you do that?
No, it's an even crazier story because I'd make a TikTok about, I'm like, I was supposed to move to LA and now I'm here. That TikTok went viral in Croatia. So a newspaper picked up and she's like, I'd love to interview you. I didn't realize at the time because I'm not from Croatia. It was like the biggest news outlet. Then this hits, it hits every single major news outlet in Croatia. It literally hits Bosnia news, like all of the surrounding countries from Croatia. It's like, and some of the translations are so hilarious because it's like Netflix well-known actress, which the haters on Reddit are gonna be like, she said she was a well-known actress. She's lying.
Period. Put some respect on my reality TV star name.
Well-known actress. It said, I got a sign. It was a sign from the universe, or it said it was a sign from the sky. And I was like, don't make me sound like a tinfoil hat, like alien.
Wait, no, I love that.
Yeah, I literally.
Because all the signs for LA were like, don't go, and you listen to it.
I really do think.
And you no, I'm serious.
Yeah. I know.
You really did go to Croatia and then everything, fell in line?
It did. No, it fell in line so quickly.
Hello?
So this article comes out. My now business partner, I own 49% of the company. He owns 51%.
So wait, when you read a contract, do you know how to read it and like what to look for?
Oh, I mostly am signing my life away.
Love it.
You can bamboozle me. It's really easy to bamboozle me, actually. I don't know what I'm signing ever. Please don't. Please don't, though.
Netflix is like, great, let's call her right now.
I just like I'm just like, people will be nice to me because I'm cute. Okay, so my now business partner is in Dublin. He's originally Croatian.
No way.
Bored one day. He's like, let me open up Croatian news. Starts scrolling, sees my article, has already the yacht charter company. Him and his wife, they've been doing it. But their conflict was they're not American speaking. They need someone for like the marketing to do the videos, the marketing, all of that. And also as a bridge for the American like an American audience for it, because that's probably who our customer base is going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, little do you know, do you not only have that, but you also have someone, I'm like, I have a specialization in online buying behavior and sales and business psychology. I'm like, you really did find the right person, but I'm like, there's no way you know that. I'm like, this has to be a scam. Literally, they were about to give up as well, like on this like business, and they're like, we don't know if it's right for us. He sent me an email. I thought it was like a scam at first. I was like, there's no way. And then 3 weeks later, we had already set up to do all of the marketing materials on the yachts. And I'm like, I am literally in a $20,000 a night yacht, like filming our marketing material for this like company. And I'm 49% owner.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so when is the next PR trip to Croatia, Miss Ma'am?
Literally, yeah. We are setting things up, and come with.
Hopefully Netflix is also like, hey, can we use your in Croatia?
Literally, yeah. Netflix, everyone's invited on the yachts. So it was crazy. I was like, I cannot believe I'm here. Like, a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know where I was going to go. I'm in the most beautiful places, and we're making this business work. It's a total startup. Like, we are doing our best, but we really do have like the best of the best in Croatia as far as luxury and yachts and experiences. So if you do want to book your trip, that one is, we have very expensive ones, but also if you're getting bottle service in Austin, you should be instead doing a yacht in Croatia. Because you can afford a yacht.
Affordable,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a vibe. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And it's so much cooler just to be like, I'm in Croatia for my birthday instead of I'm at the club in Austin.
Yeah. Which I have been before.
Which is fine.
A time or two.
Which is fine.
A time or two.
Me personally,
it was crazy. It all fell in alignment, and I do.
And
think
that's when you know. Honestly,
it's a testament. Like, listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
LA isn't off the table though. So currently, I'm back. I'm homeless.
I might be moving to LA too. Who knows? At least you'll be my friend.
Yes. Currently, I'm homeless AF, and I've had like every single living experience that I've had here since I've been back has completely fallen through. Like, I've been in my car with my dog so many different times. This is way more glamorous than when I was a child. I'm like the most glamorous homeless person ever. I'm looking good. But yeah, no, my clothes are scattered throughout the city.
Come to my couch, and you can literally raid my closet.
No.
I have more clothes than I even know what to do with.
Literally...
Q's gonna be out of town.
It has to be an option.
He's out of town for 2 weeks.
It has to be an option.
So come over.
I'm couch surfing, homie hopping. No, not.
Slay.
I don't know.
You're
like, who wants to take me in? I'm really cute. I am funny. I got told today I was annoying, and
who?
I had to go.
That's ridiculous.
I had to bounce with. So, anyways, me and Camilla.
That's your dog.
Yeah, Camilla.
Okay.
No, my child. She is my child.
Literally right over
Camilla's my dog. We are homeless. We are looking for somewhere to stay. And I don't have anything to offer besides jokes. All my trust money is in crypto right now, and it's down. I cannot pull it out.
Crypto?
I was in crypto. I've lived a lot of lives. So before the trust,
why crypto? Someone tried to get me into crypto, and I was like,
I know everything.
I don't think it's worth it.
Oh, that's fine. You don't have to.
Is it worth it though? Tell me I'm correct.
Let me. No, you're not. So when that was my last job before the trust, I was in crypto. Somehow I was like drunk applying for jobs at one point, and
when I'm drunk, I shop on Amazon.
Yeah, I got involved in a Bitcoin mining company on accident. Ended up in an interview with the CEO, but because I have my master's degree or a specialization in industrial organizational psychology. So marketing psychology. I accidentally ended up as project manager one time for a Bitcoin mining company, but it did change my life. And then I was with a lot of startups for crypto. So I know like everything. It's like it was a side quest life that I had. And so I know everything randomly about crypto. I'm very into it. And then my ex was really into it here in Austin.
I do remember this story.
Yeah. This was this made it to close friend story. So he also was really into it. So once I got like my trust check, I was like, what's up? And I like saw everything like he was investing in, and he's like, this is like what I would do. So anyways, no one, I don't have anything to offer.
What did you do with the money from the trust?
It's all in crypto. But crypto's down right now. So I have $0. I have nothing.
Like,
so
I'm homeless.
I'm literally so homeless right now. I'd have nothing to offer. That whole the 68,000.
That's why I didn't do.
I'm
crypto.
gonna be up. I
think it'll go back up eventually, and then you just like take all your money out in actual cash form.
You don't understand. It's gonna 10x. You don't understand.
You manifest that shit, bitch.
I really do
Namaste.
feel good about my investments.
Okay.
But if not, then I lost $68,000. Yeah. But it's all in crypto, so I can't pull it out right now. I have no money.
Yeah, that will never be. I will not do crypto. I just can't.
No, the thing is I am like a very impulsive human being, and
Air signs.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. I think it still will. I'm gonna hold. It's down right now, but we're gonna be up.
You do that. Yeah. Manifest it. I believe in you.
So that's where all the money's at.
All right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Because I think we're like at the end of the. Is there anything anything at all you want to touch on?
I don't know. That was pretty good.
How do you like being a content creator? Is that a vibe? Do you hate it?
Yeah, we could talk about that because I have I want to hear about your experience too.
It's a long
Okay,
story.
so we were talking even about before we started filming, we were kind of talking about hating seeing ourselves edit. So right now I'm going through it. I don't know. Let me know if you've gone through this because I need to be reassured. But there's certain times where I almost feel like either I have to be so narcissistic to love seeing myself and edit myself, and that really dehumanizes. I have to have a level of dehumanization because to handle all the hate comments and to take all that on, I'm whatever, I'm better than you and all that. That Miley Cyrus was talking about this on an interview, and she didn't say this, but I think that's what she meant to say. Is that she has to slip into that, and then she was saying but then there's a part where I have to connect with humanness to even write music. Ooh. And where I can't be a performer all of the time. Mm-hmm. And I really am feeling that where I'm there is a part where I get too far and I'm not connecting with humanness, but to connect with humanness is almost a detriment to my content creation because I have more anxiety. I don't like how I look on camera. My insecurities are there. Sometimes I feel I get severe anxiety, body dysmorphia, all of that with content creating. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I'm at. But connecting with that humanness is also great for creating art. So I struggle with that. Do you feel that way at all?
I did feel that way sometimes I do still feel that way. I had an eating disorder for 14 years. So my body dysmorphia is still in the back of my mind. Sometimes I'll look at this edit and I'll be never wear a tank top again. So it's literally, but what I realized, I realized that it's all in my head. And the only way that I actually did realize that was by opening myself up and being vulnerable to other people's perspectives. Mm-hmm. So what I started to do, and this actually just made my community a lot stronger. You're surprised that I get hate. I don't honestly get a lot of hate. And when I do, that's when I'm the fuck?
What's wrong with you?
I'm well, you don't follow me, do you? You're new here, type shit. But what I do is I open up and I talk about it, no matter how dumb it sounds, Yeah. People look at me and they're you're stunning. Why would you ever think that you're ugly? Or you're beautiful. How would you ever allow a man to mistreat you? Or you're so funny. How did you ever think that you're worthless? How did you ever not want to be here anymore? That doesn't make sense. And then I open up and well, this is how I was raised and this is the mindset and I've been really fighting it and I just da-da-da-da-da. And what that does is it opens a door, and this doesn't happen enough on the internet, where other women are I feel the exact same way. Recently, actually last week, I made a reel on TikTok and it was I don't know what my purpose is. I think I'm dreaming too big and I keep missing this mark and I don't feel like my content is even good enough for you guys. You guys want to...
I think that's exactly what I need to do right now because I've been feeling oh, I can't, I should have it figured out. I should know what I want. And I feel myself running away from that vulnerability. And so I'm I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to create content
When,
about. I'm not feeling confident. I'm not feeling good.
As soon as you open up, I mean, the comments on that post are countless, and it just goes to show how many women are and you can be a super fucking successful woman, and you still have days and maybe even months where you're like, what am I doing? I feel so pointless. This is so dumb. Whatever I'm putting out is worth nothing. And then people are like, I feel the same way. And I'm raising 2 kids and they're so smart and they're so beautiful. And like, without me, they wouldn't be like, I'm worth something. Or like, I run my own successful whatever. And it's like, I do have a purpose. But there are some moments where we're just like, is this good enough? But when you open up and when you're vulnerable online, you get strangers on the internet will literally fill your cup until it overflows. And then that right there, you're overflowing and you're like, oh, I can go make content again. Yeah, I feel so much better. You get it off your chest and people will validate it. So just go be vulnerable.
Yeah, and be like, I suck.
Yeah.
So please make me feel better.
And then with like I did get negative comments on that post, and it was like some dude. It was like,
of course.
And it was, but here's the thing. When you write something out in text, it's always going to be misread, right? It's just, I mean, there's just a bigger percentage that it's going to be misread than taken for what it is. So he goes, maybe stop putting fake.
I already hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it, especially coming from a dude. I was like, it rubbed me the wrong way, but I was like, you know what? Let me be open-minded here. So he was like, maybe stop putting out fake content. We can tell when you're acting. You asked, we answered, # you asked, we answered. It was like too much. It was doing too much. And I responded on it, and I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, I haven't put out anything where I'm really like acting lately, not even in an ad. Like, I just don't, the only time I'm faking something is if something is really going on in my life, really piss poor, and I have a deadline and I have to fake it. But if I'm doing an ad, like, I'm not going to I don't fake it. It's really straight and fucking improv. Anytime I do an ad, I don't really write scripts very much. Sometimes I do, but most of the time it's like off rip.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, what are you referring to? And he answers, well, just as an influencer, like most influencers. So he was generalizing me. And I was like, right.
Got it. Got it.
But so even with the negative comments that come off really wrong, just being open-minded there and just allowing someone to even be more vulnerable, it really creates such a strong community. And then people will start to see you as a fucking human being, which you are. And they will start to see your moral ambiguity. Bitch.
Oh, look,
she learned the word today. She learned the word. They will start to see that. I'm so serious. And they will like value you, and they'll lift you up when you need it. And then when you do have those days where you're on top of the world, and they will like cheer with you.
Yeah.
So that's important.
I think that's really good advice.
Do you?
Yes, because it's really easy to think like, I think because like I have gotten so much hate to kind of go into that, and I'm not a narcissist. I've been tested, and people have asked me.
I'm not a narcissist.
People have asked me, but that essentially is what the disease of narcissism is. It's a shame-based disorder, and so you really are like, you are putting up a shield, a mask for like, this is the strength of it, and that's why like I am self-aware enough where I can see that, where it's like, oh no, like. The only way I can cope with this is I am better than you. But I don't feel that way. I feel very like low right now. And so then now I'm just like, really, I haven't even been posting, but vulnerability and like the truth always, I think, is better. But it's hard when I already feel like weak to put myself out there, because a lot of times I feel like, to put myself out there, I have to be very like strong and in a good mindset. And like I said, I was like, if I'm moving to LA, like I need to like be good. And I'm like, but I'm not good right now.
You will connect with more people when you show up and you're good, you're bad, and you're ugly.
And there's been times I've been okay with that, I think, but definitely since the trust, I've had more of a...
I mean, I understand that. When I feel like a biggest fucking failure, the last thing I want to do is go on the internet in front of hundreds of thousands, of people and be like, I feel like a failure.
Yes.
Because if one person validates it, I'm going to be like, I knew it. But you know what? You won't. You might get one person, but you will get tens of thousands of people who are like, I feel the same way. And listen, like on that post, they're like, you did this and you brightened up my life. You left a toxic man and you changed my life. Yeah. You inspire me. And I'm like, me? And it's like, oh, I'm okay. It's really comforting.
Hell yeah.
I love community.
Yes.
The internet is
so
okay.
Good.
All right, babe. Well, thank you so much for coming.
I
would love to have you back on because I want to talk more about narcissists.
Oh, I have so much to say.
I know. You like studied it, right?
I love info. Yeah, I study everything. My Google search history is crazy.
Thank you so much for being here. Raid my closet anytime.
We'll take you up
My
on that
couch is
offer.
open.
Yes. Perfect. That'll be the content. Me and your couch.
Okay, so
live from your couch.
We end every show and we say, see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Do you get it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's serving content.
I literally think I'm so clever. See you next Tuesday, beach. I love you. Bye.
See you next Tuesday.